everybody. Welcome back. It's episode 42 of This Week in Grip. It's myself and Riccardo here this week. Jedd is off in Dubai doing some training with Better, and it looked like Lane Snook. That should make for an epic training session, so I can't wait to hear some results of that from when they get back. It looks like everybody's been doing a really good job of keeping up with the hashtags. This Week in Grip on Instagram, I see we're already up to 941. That was a huge improvement, big improvement over what we had the last time around. I think we were, 881. So yeah, a lot of people are staying on top there. So how's everything been going with your training this week, Riccardo?
Oh, training's been super. Feeling great. Had a great session this morning. I worked up to 281 for a set of 5 on the tips tester, 2 hands, of course. So that was a PR. That felt good. Had some good gripper work in my quest to attack the number 3 and certify on that thing this week. But yeah, just great deadlift yesterday on the 60 millimeter axle. I did a very easy 143.25 kilos, so 315 very easily on that with a hold. Yeah, it's great. I'm fantastic right now.
Nice. How do you think that tips tester helps with your overall carryover-wise?
Well, you know what? I think it helps with a lot of things. And what I've found is, for me, and again, it could be different things for different people, I seem to get more out of it for the 3 to 5 rep range. And I think it helps with thick bar, in both axle and rolling handle. And I think also it's continuing to strengthen my fingers to attack some big hub numbers. I think really...
interesting.
The hand has to work hard at that angle, because you cannot, fully make a circle around the bar. And I get a little more out of it, I think, in the 3 to 5 rep range. Going for maximums on that one, I mean, I've done it, a bunch of times, but I don't think I get the same training bang for my buck as I do when I do the 3 to 5 reps. I really like that range on that device. And, I slowly push the pounds up. And that's 5 weeks in a row on Sundays now. I've made PRs on that thing. I did a 5 rep max, a 3 rep, a 3 rep, and now I've cycled back to 5 reps. So, feeling good.
Nice. I picked one of those up not long after Gil started making them. And I went to, the first time I used it, it just felt really weird in my hand. It was just such a strange, it was like my fingers kind of hung over the edge, and it was hard to get it just felt awkward to me. And then I just always had something else come up that I've never really gone back to it. So it just sort of sits there.
I'm going to be honest, it feels awkward to me too. But the reality is, I think that's the beauty of the device, is that, and it also may take some playing with, Alan. Maybe send me a video or something of you doing it, even if it's with light weights, and let me see how you put your hands, because I think there's a right and a wrong way. I think on a lot of grip things, there are many techniques that work for different people. But I think on that tips tester, again, depending on how big your hands are, there's a definite right and wrong way to put the hands. And I get a little more out of it, to be honest, where my fingertips are kind of jammed into that area where that little metal plate kind of makes a T with the circular bar part, right?
Yeah.
Does that make sense? So I put my fingertips in that part, but my thumb I do not have totally encircled as deep as it can go. I have the thumb up a little bit higher than you would think would be comfortable, and I get a much better leverage like that. Yeah, more like a pinching, yeah. I get much better leverage like that, and I feel like my thumb, the activity on my thumb is quite beneficial. So
well, that just spoke volumes, because what I was trying to do was almost get my thumb down around it, and it really put my hand in a really hard extended position. That's what just felt so awkward,
Well, yeah. So that's what I think. Yeah, I think even if you put on a 45 or a couple 45s and just mess with easy reps, whatever weight is comfortable, but get the thumb used to that a little bit higher up position, and you'll know when it's there. It's because
I'm playing with it right now.
Yeah, you'll know. And I would recommend doing it with the 2-hand version first, so you feel both thumbs in the spot, and then the 1-hand version once you feel like you got the two-hand technique mastered. For me, that's the best way to do it. Other people, depending on their hand size, they may like the thumb deep in there. For me, I like it up a little bit higher. I don't know. How does it feel just messing around with it there with just the bar?
Actually, that feels, when I hold it, and I hold it with just my fingertips first and how it kind of wants to tip out of your hands, and then you just get enough thumb involvement to keep it straight. So it does really turn it into, like when I look at my thumb, it's at that angle like what you'd see it at on a two-hand pinch, for example. Whereas the other way, it would more hook around and you kind of get some thumbprint involved. So yeah, that could be, I could see some really good, actually, now that you mentioned that, some pretty serious carryover there. That's a good way to get that. I bet you that smokes the thumb. So that's an angle I don't get often. But the big appeal to this, too, just holding it in my hand, is that, a guy could use this a lot and never rip his skin and get some good thumb work in. So, that's I might play with that this evening. I got a training session coming up, might throw that in. So I got so many of these goodies. Just got to start using them more.
It's a great warm-up. Work up to like a 5-rep max. Even it doesn't matter what the weight is. It doesn't matter where you start, and then you just add to it. I like doing that one first. That's not one I like to do when my hands are fatigued, because I feel like it can, you can get injured doing anything. You can get injured getting out of bed. But I feel like if your hands are already tired and you're trying a real heavy weight on that one, because you don't have the most secure grip on that one due to the simple nature of the device, I feel like, at least for me, that's one I always do fresh. I never do that one tired.
Sure.
So just a thought, and it doesn't take away from my other bits of the workout. At least I don't feel like it does. If you warm up with that one. So give it a try tonight. Warm up with that sucker.
Yeah, I think I will. Yeah, yep. Because tonight's going to be I was going to end up doing some heavy doubles with the FBBC Pro dumbbell on my quest to lift the baby inch, and then I actually picked up one of those Napalm's Nightmares, which I'm liking quite a bit. So yeah, that's my second exercise of the evening. So yeah, that thing that's deceptively fun. It's good to use, and I tend to be really weak in that overhand position. It seems like I'm stronger neutral. So this kind of presents a whole new challenge. So it's fun to play with. Plus, like Clay Edgen noted too when we had him on the call a few weeks back, you're in a much different position. It feels like it's just stronger on the back. You do definitely get some posterior chain involvement. So it seems across the board beneficial. So.
Oh, I think it's great, and I think you've seen me do it in my videos, standing on blocks. Once you get more used to just pulling it off the floor technique, I feel like there's a lot of carryover to any kind of deadlift once you add to the range of motion, because it does want to spin out of your hands at some level. It's maybe not as spinny as a trilobite or a crusher, but it's certainly more spinny than a regular bar, and I feel like when you stand on blocks, you can get more range of motion, and depending on how you do it, you can be very creative with the device. I feel like it has a lot that it offers.
Yeah, yep. You talk about the rotation of that handle, and I agree. It's definitely, you don't get the action that you see on some of the other ones, but it's a little misleading, because there's a very nice texture on the handles, so you get almost a false sense of security, because there is. Once you definitely start loading up some weight, I'm definitely not putting 500 pounds on it like we're seeing, Brian Hunsaker do, but, the action is definitely there. I would put it on par with what we see on like an axle or something like that. It does seem pretty close to me.
Yeah, I think it depends on your individual leverages and how good of a deadlifter you are. I think Brian, he did 500 on that thing, and it's starting off much higher than an axle. And I think his best axle in a meet is 418 and 3/4, 190 kilos. I think that's his best in a meet. I could be wrong, but pretty sure I'm right on that. So different people have different leverages. My best on that thing is 429, and I've had a couple close misses in contests with 396 on the axle, and I think I'm there now. If I had an axle contest right now, I'll do it in Philly, and we'll all see. Hopefully I can break 400 in Philly. But, it all depends. I have a powerlifting background, so I'm used to picking up heavy weight. So for me, it's more of the grip factor than the legs and back factor. You know, everyone's got a different training background they come into grip sport with, which is kind of the cool thing. So
yeah, right.
Yep. No, I'm excited to hear that you got that one. It's a great tool. It has a variety of uses.
It really is. Uses. Yes. I'm real excited about it. Actually, I was just a little skeptical at first, and just hearing so many positive reviews, it was just time to take the plunge. And the price, you know, Luke's products, they're very reasonable. You know.
Oh yeah.
Price wise.
Yeah, he's not gouging anyone on those things.
No,
sure.
No, not in the slightest. Yeah. So, cool.
No. It's good. But hey, let's dig it. Oh, the other thing, you know, that's good that Nightmare is good for. By the way, do you have a cable machine at home in the garage there or basement wherever you train?
I've got kind of a homemade thing that I made up with a cable and some pulleys and stuff.
Yeah.
For doing like pull downs and things.
Yeah. Try it for tricep extensions. The Nightmare.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Very good.
I used to do that one arm with the Rolling Thunder, so that's probably not that's probably not a bad idea. Yeah.
No, that'll wake up the guns, Alan. That's what you need.
Yeah.
We'll wake up the guns.
I'm going to give that a shot.
Oh, yeah. I'm telling you, because of the rolling and your wrist has to squeeze a little bit, and, you know, I don't know the exact specifications of your setup there, but you know what to do. Throw it on there for some tricep pushdowns or overhead extensions or whatever, and it'll get your attention after a few sets. Yeah,
right. Yep. Cool. No, that's interesting, too, that you said that. Yeah, you know, there were some guys on the grip board, you know, how people years back used to talk about, you know, doing squats and things like that to kind of wake up the CNS before they start doing grip work. And there was one guy that actually made that correlation that he liked to do simply literally tricep pushdowns, just pump up the triceps before doing grip work. And he found that had good carryover. So maybe there's something to that. I don't know, worth giving it a shot.
For sure, and let me tell you, I mean, you know, the Russians call it arm lifting for a reason. When I went to St. Petersburg last year, Alan, I felt like a junior high kid. All these guys' arms were so big.
I know.
They're massive. And
isn't that you know, Jedd and I have had that discussion too. I brought this up one time. You know how that look like you lift discussion comes up periodically?
Right.
Well, I always wanted to have the, you know, look like I grip kind of thing going on. You know, we've got some grip sport guys that got some pretty massive forearms, you know. And and then you have some guys it's not so much, and I'm definitely falling into the not so much category. So I've always kind of wanted to pump these things up quite a bit, you know, and you see the massive arms on these guys and they look like they'd just be ripping doorknobs off of places, you know, going into a building, you know. And that's kind of what I've wanted to. you at least want to look like it. Otherwise, people are like, "There's no way you can tear a deck of cards in half or anything like that." You know,
right.
You just don't have the appearance. So,
but I think there's some carryover to that too. You know, I've been doing a lot more arm work since I went to Russia last May, and losing body weight but strengthening my arms. I mean, the biceps and triceps connect you to the forearm, which connects you to the implement, whatever it is you're lifting. I've definitely seen some carryover. The people who say they don't do any arms and they have huge arms, they're just not telling the truth there. They do nothing.
I know.
And maybe they get it out of pull-ups or rows or dips, but and they just don't tell you, or maybe the physique, they do a lot of heavy benching, or they did arms so much in the past that But the people who tell you they do zero arm training and they have, you know, huge guns, it's just not true. I know. It's
a lot of disinformation out there, you know, just like the guys with some of these massive numbers telling you how little it actually seems like they do in relation to what the numbers they put out. There's just no way, you know.
Correct. Correct.
Well, neat. Well, yeah, I'm definitely going to implement some of these things. That's some good stuff. Oh.
Good. Well, you're ready to end the call right now and get down into the basement and get it on.
That's about right. Yep. Luckily, I get to stand right here in my grip gym staring at all this stuff in real time while we talk about it. So I don't know where you are during your call, but that's how it works for me. So I just kind of obsess and drool when we have these conversations.
Nice. No, I actually, because the reception in my neighborhood is not beneficial for an uninterrupted phone call, I actually drive just 4 or 5 minutes out of my neighborhood into a parking lot of some restaurant there, and it seems to where I don't get interrupted by kids, dogs, or anyone else, and then I can just have the conversation in peace and quiet.
Sure.
Yeah, but And then typically usually around this time on Sunday, after we're done with the call, I go into school and grade papers and write letters of recommendation and get caught up on that. So it's always a fun time to look forward to a post this week in grip call for me. There's always some schoolwork that needs to be done, but it's important because then I don't feel stressed out during the week because I'm ahead of the game every week, which is kind of my plan. So
Right. Yep.
Yeah, but hey, let's get into. We wanted to talk about the Finnish National Championships, the results there, and there were some quite outstanding performances put in. Did you get a chance to watch that 2-minute YouTube video I sent you?
I did. I saw the video, and then I've looked through the results too. And yes, there was some very impressive things done there. I was quite surprised by some of the hub numbers, as a matter of fact. But yes, why don't you jump in and let us know how that went?
All right. Well, the results were absolutely fantastic. So overall, the champion was Jesse Pignonian, and that's someone I've talked about quite a bit on our conversations. And let's go over the events first so people knew what they were. So the first it wasn't an Iron Mine axle, but it was a 50 millimeter or 2-inch axle deadlift for max. And then it was a silver bullet. They had a choice of the number 3 or number 4. And then it was Iron Mine hub, little bighorn. And then last but not least, a very interesting looking wrist roller event for time. So, let's get down to it. So, it looks like the only event that Jesse Pignonian did not win was the axle, and he got second. So otherwise, he won every other event. So he dominated the competition with also a new world record in the number 4 silver bullet at 19.12 seconds. Did you have a chance to see the video of that? Did you see that?
I did. Yep. That was impressive. He didn't mess around there. He got it. It looked like a hard 4 to me too. You could definitely see some shaking going on. But yeah, that was a solid hold. And then it speaks volumes too, because the guy that went right behind him on it, didn't quite get 4 seconds. So I mean, he was definitely getting some work in there.
Yeah, and that was Joni Mahonen who didn't get 4 seconds. That's not exactly the JV grip performer, right? He's not exactly a scrub.
Right,
so,
right.
No. The only thing is, and I talked to Jesse physically on the phone about this, I felt like in the beginning of his lift there, the number 4 bullet, the gripper was tilted too much in the beginning. Now, let's be real. There's not many people who've done a number 4 silver bullet. I've done it in training on several occasions. You're gripping so hard, Alan, that you don't know up from down. You don't even know what you're doing. He didn't do it on purpose.
No doubt.
I mean, you saw it. His eyes were closed. He's squeezing for the life of, like he's hanging on for dear life. But if I was a referee, and I told him this on the phone, I said, Jesse, if I was a referee, I would have given you a warning, and if it kept staying tilted, I would have stopped your attempt. And he appreciated that feedback for the next time, because I'm sure he's going to try to break it again at some point.
Sure.
So,
sure.
So that was just my take. Now, of course, I wasn't there. It's one camera angle. The camera angle was a little bit low, so it did maybe make it look a little more tilted than it was. Hard to say. But based on the information I had, I wanted to tell him, since he's one of my good buddies, and I'm really looking forward to meeting him there. And it's less than 4 months away, and competing with and against him, that, I just felt like it was slightly substandard. But, it passed and whatever, and it's a record, and there's no questioning the man's power to hold on to the thing. I mean, you saw it. It was phenomenal. The gripping.
Oh, yeah. Right. Yep. No, I agree with your assessment there, too. And you really don't know. When you're at like a max effort level, sometimes things just, they get a little off kilter, and yeah, it was definitely not a blatant thing. Nothing was buried in his palm or anything like that. It's just how it worked out when you're giving it everything you got. So, yeah, I wouldn't fault anybody for that.
No, you're just squeezing the crap out of it. I mean, and that's why the judge is there. I mean, I try when I do it. I try hold the thing straight. I even say that to myself in my little pre-gripping mantra to kind of just make sure I keep my technique, because I would hate to I would hate to get this thing because I'm not automatic every single time on setting the bullet in the number 4 or equivalent.
Well, right.
But I'm pretty good at silver bullet. I mean, I would say I don't think there's been 20 people in training or contests that have done a number 4. It might be closer to 10. I don't know. I would imagine it's between 10 and 20 people who have the ability or who have already had video evidence of setting, a 200-plus pound gripper and holding it in the bullet correctly. Do you have any idea about that, Alan? How many people do you think can actually do that? It's not a lot.
The number 4? No idea. No. It couldn't be a lot. No, we don't even see some of the strongest gripper guys we've got out there. We really don't even see doing that, things like that. I haven't seen Ches play around with it. I haven't seen Vano. We haven't seen Morgan, any of those guys. So there's not a whole lot to base it off of, But there's definitely not many people working on it. So.
Right. So, again, obviously the people for sure who've done it are obviously Jesse and Yoni because they did it in the video, right?
Yep.
Jedd has obviously done it. He was world record holder. Clay has done it, of course. Alexi was world record holder. So now we're up to 5 people right there. I've put out several videos, even though they're not the longest holds ever. Still, I'll tell you, 5 seconds with that thing and you're ready to take a nap.
That's forever. Yeah, no doubt about it. I can't. I'm always reluctant to put my 2 cents in on stuff like this because I can't do it with a 3. That's all there is to it. So I don't have a lot of room to work with. So, but that does say that I do know how hard of a feat that is. So
right.
There's no 2 ways about it.
I think Thomas Larson may have done it in training. Maybe Juha Harju has done it in training. Maybe there's a few other people who I've missed. Oh, Dmitry Suhavrov. He's a Russian. He did it there last year. John Eklund did it in one of our meets. But we're approaching, we're approaching 10 people right now, and then maybe there's 5 or 6 who I don't know. And I'm sure with any kind of a practice, the Morgans, the Tanners. These guys have the potential horsepower to do it. But I'll tell you, and he's a good friend of mine, Carl Myerscough, who just certified on the 3.5. He can't do the 4. He can't do the 4 with the silver bullet, and so. And he can close the 3.5 all the way. It's a totally different event. So
right.
So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Oh, John Stepien, he's done it. I've seen him do it on a video.
Oh, the 4, really? So, okay. I haven't seen that. I do remember one from Juha that you pointed out. He and Jedd had a back and forth thing going on, I think, with the silver bullet hold, and then they were doing something else crazy at the time. I don't know if it was like trying to hold the inch dumbbell or something.
Oh my God.
But they were doing something you definitely don't see other people doing.
Yeah.
But
no, that's
I missed that from John Stepien then. Oh yeah, he is. Yeah, he is. For a guy that really doesn't do much with grip. He's just got that natural strength at it. So he does enough other things.
Dude, too. He's got to be 300 pounds. He's a big, strong man. He's going to Philly in the expo, and I'm looking forward to that, meeting a bunch of these guys that I've never met before, like Lucas and our absent co-host, and if he goes, and then John as well. Looking forward to meeting these guys. Pat Maisels is going. But anyway, let's get back to the Finnish Nationals. Jesse Pignonian crushed the competition on that number 4. Let's look at the other results we had there. You talked hub. Dude, the hub was no joke. Harri Talonen, the world record holder, tied for 4th place with 72 pounds.
Yeah,
no joke.
I saw that. Yeah, yep. Did he, I don't know where that was. Was that the last event?
It looks like that on the results, but I know what happened there. He and Arto both passed at 35 kilos.
Okay, I was wondering.
It was 4 attempts. I guess the 32.5 was so easy, they both passed and took that 11-pound jump, which proved to be too much on the day for them.
Okay. Yep. I didn't want to imply that the number he pulled on the hub was light by any means, but it was definitely not what we've seen out of him before. So I was curious what the disparity was there, because that's pretty.
No, the wrist roller was the last event, actually, Alan. The wrist roller was the last event.
Okay.
No, I'm not sure, but it just, and Yoni Mahanen won with 37.5 kilos. That's like 82 pounds. I mean, just a disgustingly good pull.
Yes.
And then Jesse got second with 77, and then another guy who I don't know, Nico, he got 33.75 kilos. So that's like 75. I mean, ridiculous. Very good numbers. So I got my work cut out for me when I go over there in 4 months. But I feel like my hub actually yesterday is starting to get back on track. I did some holds yesterday with 60 pounds in each hand for 5 seconds, and that was not a limit. So that felt. I feel like I can do at least 70 right now. So I'm feeling good about that. We'll see in 2 weeks.
Yeah, nice, nice.
Yeah, and then let's see the Little Bighorn again. Jesse Pignoni and 100 kilos. The world record's 107 by the man you mentioned that's in Dubai with Jedd, Lane Snook. So, and Jesse pulled that so easily. You saw that on the video, Alan. What did you think of that lift?
Yes. No, that looked like nothing. All of his lifts, actually, I thought they looked exceptionally easy. The Little Bighorn, the hub, I mean, those things just came right up. So, yeah, he didn't look like he was struggling much. So, yeah, he had a great day.
Well, I'm sure after the gripper, he was sapped on energy. I mean, he told me as much, and he wanted to do just enough to make sure that he won the contest, which he did. And I think he's number one in Finland after 1 year of grip training. It is absolutely disgusting when you look at the depth of that contest. It is mind-boggling.
Well, right.
Unlimited, literally, I don't say this often, unlimited potential. And,
he's a young fellow too, isn't he? In his 20s?
23, I think.
23, yeah. lots of room to grow there then. Well,
yeah.
Nice.
I mean, he may be at the point where he obviously his stick bar needs to come up a little bit, but he may be at the point where he almost can hang with anyone in any single event. Like I said, I honestly think every single world record at that Sawa Open in Finland in 4 months is under assault. I would not shock me if it took a world record to win every single event. No, I'm not even joking.
Nice.
So,
yeah, I look forward to hearing the results of that coming up. Yep. Cool.
And speaking of world record, there was one more Iron Mind world record, Alan. Did you see that Mervy in the females, she did 26.36 on the hub. Yep.
Killed the previous record by about 2.5 pounds.
Right.
That's a ton.
That's a huge margin, in an event like that. Absolutely, it's a 5% improvement over the record. That's a huge margin. So, So I think she's around 58 pounds there on the hub for females. I mean, I've seen many men not lift 58 pounds on a hub. So,
right.
Big strong men, not even close. So, the hub is a big deal over there in Finland, and she destroyed that record, and she did it easy too. It looked like she had more in the tank as well.
Well, and she's a real strong lady. We've mentioned her on this before. I can't remember specifically what other lifts, but I don't know. I think she's had some. I don't know if they've been flask lifts or what else they've used over there, but she's put up some other just insane numbers. I'm drawing a blank on what specifically they were, but
flask. She's very good on flask. She trains with Arto occasionally, or she drives over there to use his equipment or something because he's the one who always is posting her videos. And she has done some destruction on the one-hand and two-hand flask. I mean, the very good pinching. And it's not a surprise. Arto is one of the top couple pinchers in the world. So training with him, you're going to pinch, obviously. So, she's a wrecking ball. Definitely a wrecking ball in the women's category.
Yeah, yep. No, I can't wait to see more from her. The one thing I like, you talk about the hub being really big with the Finns over there. The one thing I like is those guys are always very strict with their grip on the hub.
Oh, yeah.
And we just saw a little tutorial from Jerome Bloom about that too. He does I grab it the same way that he does, kind of sweeping the fingers across the circular portion on the bottom there. I'm not dealing with the weights that he's dealing with, but I like that strict style. the conventional type grip. I really like going with that style. So that speaks even more so about the numbers these guys are pulling. I know some people kind of get a little different thumb action in there, and that can add a lot of pounds to the lift. But the way these guys are doing it's quite a bit different. So
it
nice.
It is different. The one thing I think that I see in some of the videos is some people tilt their wrist forward just a little bit, and even though they've got the fingers on there in a quasi-strict position, it's not the same as lifting the hub straight up if it's tilted a little bit forward. Eventually it comes up just because of the weight. It comes up straight. But if you notice ever so slightly, sometimes you see that wrist tilted a little bit forward. Like instead of the hub, the top of the hub, if you pictured it at 0 degrees, maybe it's like 20 or 30 degrees facing forward. And that can definitely make the lift a little easier to start.
That's okay. I hadn't.
So look for that.
I'm going to look out for that. Yeah, yep. I hadn't observed that. I try to keep mine as strict as possible. I know sometimes like some plates when I hub them, specifically like the Yorks, because I have to get 3 fingers for whatever reason, the plate tends to tilt on me. It's not deliberate, but it's just like the way I grab it. It kind of does it. I'm trying to figure out a way to counteract that. I just haven't quite accomplished it yet. But I can hub a regular standard plate, and it'll be flat. But yeah, you take some fingers off it, and those Yorks, it just kind of. I definitely get some. It's probably 20, 30 degrees of tilt. I'd have to guess is what I end up with doing those. So.
But you know what the difference? Okay, so let me throw in my 2 cents on that. Here's the difference. On the loading pin, you can definitely lift the thing straight up. On those plates, it's possible that the weight is not exactly perfectly distributed on the plate.
Yes.
And that may be part of the thing. I mean, let's realize these things, the old ones, I mean, I don't know about the quality control, but it's possible that if you cut, not that anyone would ever do this, but if you cut the plate in half, one half of it may weigh more like another, just like blobs and dumbbells. And the quality control, I don't think, was laser precision quite on those plates.
Right, right. Absolutely. Yep, absolutely.
So you can't beat yourself up over that, because I think that there's a different it sounds like the same thing, but I think lifting a hub plate versus lifting a hub on a loading pin, those are different activities. I mean, they're similar, but I think they're different activities. Picking it up off the floor with a plate that's flat on the floor requires a different flexibility, and like I said, you're dealing with maybe not a uniform weight distribution. On the loading pin, it's a much different animal.
Yeah, right. Yep.
So
I agree
just
completely.
my observations, and I don't have access to a million of different kinds of hubbing plates, but I pretty much can pick up, I mean, almost any plate I've encountered that's 45 pounds. If I have chalk, I can pick the thing up by the hub. I mean, obviously not my Ivanko competition plates where the hub is like 1 millimeter. I mean, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about a regular plate with a real legitimate hub. I can pretty much pick anyone up. I mean, maybe there's some that I am unable to pick up, but I haven't really found those yet. But I'm sure the guy who is the plate mastermind is that James Fuller. He has got plate upon plate upon plate of different varieties. That's the guy right there. So,
yeah. And the weight he stacks on him when he hubs them is ridiculous.
oh yeah. He just keep loading up. Yeah. He's got that lift dialed in. I think he spent quite a few years practicing that, and I think he's definitely a technician and a magician when it comes to those lifts, for sure.
Yep, for sure. Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
Nice.
Hey, so do you have any more comments on the nationals? So if we want to wrap it up for Finland, it looked like that Jesse was first, Harry Tolanen was second, Arto was third, and then Joni Mahanen won the lightweight class, pretty much as expected. So that was the deal. Just some ridiculous numbers, and for those people who don't know, that's a drug tested contest, by the way. They have the same drug testing that the Olympics does.
Nice. I saw that. Jesse Pinonen, he on his Instagram, I think, actually posted something about that. So yeah. Is that something we're going to be seeing in the arm lifting?
You know, right now we don't have any connection with WADA yet. You mean as far as Arm Lifting USA?
Yes, yes.
Right now, we don't have any connection with that World Anti-Doping Agency. If that's something that proceeds forward, it's always a chance for discussion. The problem with that is it does increase the cost of participation. So when I go to Finland, and that's one thing I need to do, I probably should do it today, is I have to pay to enter the drug testing division of WADA, and that's 30 euros. So if everyone had to also do that, what we don't want is to make too many financial barriers to the sport. So,
Right.
that's certainly something that we can look at as we evolve as an organization. And if there's a need or call for that, then let's do it. I think what the guys in Finland are trying to achieve is they want to achieve some recognition by the IOC and try to get arm lifting into the Olympics. That's, I think, a long-term goal. Oh, yeah. Jyrki Rantanen operates this thing called the WHEA, the World Heavy Events Association, and their strongman contests are tested in Finland, and also the arm lifting is tested. And I'm not trying to be sarcastic or negative when I say this, but Finland does not have a representative in World's Strongest Man. And it may simply be because they are actually testing these guys, and the guys who are tested may not be able to quite compete with some of the other guys who are maybe not under such scrutiny. So, I don't know. That's probably a to be determined thing for Arm Lifting USA. I think right now it's been my observation in the grip sport meets that I've been to that it seems like many of them do not necessitate drug testing because there's not a whole lot of people taking drugs that are participating in the sport. But I think if it gets to the point where that becomes a major issue, then that's obviously something we'll have to confront.
Sure. Okay.
So,
interesting. Yeah, I just thought I'd throw that out there. Yeah.
Oh, great question. That's a heck of a question. But I can tell you for sure in Finland I will be sending that thing in shortly. And, they have out-of-competition testing, Alan. I could come home from school one day, and there could be a guy sitting in my driveway ready to take a urine and blood test. So.
Oh, nice. So this is a randomized. This isn't just before literally one competition.
The exact same thing the Olympians are under. Exact same scrutiny.
I think okay. I didn't realize. I thought it was like almost like a UFC thing or something like that, where it seems like they're like you get tested, you fight, and then 3 months later you find out something. Somebody was taking something they shouldn't have been. So this is okay. No, I like that. I like that style then.
I'm going to hypothesize it's quite a bit more strict, but I think there's quite a bit more cost as well. So, like anything in life, Alan, you get what you pay for, right? So,
right.
We'll see what happens. It'll be nice for me to, experience this when I go over there. Maybe I'll be tested. Maybe I won't. It's not going to matter because I'm quite sure I can pass any kind of a drug test since I don't take any drugs. But that's. Whatever, it'll be just a different type of a thing. So, we'll see how it all boils down, and we'll obviously be talking a lot more in between now and then. But hey, I wanted to switch gears here, Alan, and I wanted to talk about a new grip product.
All right, let's hear it.
You up for that?
I am.
So yep. There's a new guy making pinch blocks, and the company is called Driftless Climbing, Driftless Climbing. Their blocks are available on Amazon.com. And I have to tell you, so I first heard about these by a guy named Mark Brotherson, known as Uncomfortably Strong on the Instagram. And that dude is a pretty good pincher. He's a mountain climber, smaller guy. I think he's around 170 pounds, but very strong. Very strong, lightweight grip guy, especially on the pinch. And I saw him using one of these blocks. And so naturally, being the grip addict and grip fiend that I am, I went on Amazon and I bought one of them for $30, the 3-inch one. And because I wanted to see, okay, what is different about it than a regular blockbuster pinch? And Alan, let me tell you something. First of all, these things are made very well. If you take care of it, the thing will last a lifetime. And I've since gone on to acquire the 2-inch block. They have 3 blocks. They have a 2-inch, a 3-inch, and then one that's a 4-inch on one direction and a 5-inch on the other direction. It's a rectangle. So
okay,
you have, it's like 2-in-1. It's like a dub hub, but a dub block. So I haven't used the 2-inch yet. I'm going to use that this week when I do pinch. But I've used the 3-inch, the 4-inch, and the 5-inch. And I'll be honest, I've been training decently hard on the blockbuster pinch, and I'm definitely in PR territory on that one. So the first time with the 3-inch, I did go all out, which maybe wasn't the smartest idea because I feel like anytime you go all out on a new device, you could get hurt. But I did throw caution to the wind, and I wound up tying the record, the world record on their leaderboards on that with 95 pounds, 95.6. But they're not counting the fractional pounds. I didn't realize that at the time. So I wound up tying with the guy who also did 95 pounds. Had I known, I would have just put on 96 and lifted it and called it good. But anyway, I can tell you these blocks are very grippy. And what they're very good for, Alan, is overloads compared to a smoother metal pinch block that we're used to in grip sport. They're lightweight, easily could go in your gym bag. I highly recommend these things. It's very good. Very good blocks. So, and then Dan Fleming bought one, and of course he's an alien at pinch grip, and then he of course broke the 2-inch world record by like 20 pounds. He did 120 pounds. So
nice.
Oh yeah. And then Tanner and Thomas Larson both ordered the 4-inch one. So those guys with those alien-sized hands, they're I'm sure going to blow my numbers out of the way. I did not do maximums on either the 4 or 5-inch. I worked up to maybe 85%, maybe closer to 90, but I didn't want to do maximums. I have a contest coming up in 2 weeks. I don't want to tweak anything, especially since I do not have alien-sized hands like Merkel and Wide Pinch do. But it's a great device. Very good. And it really gets your hand accustomed to a heavier weight than you normally use on a metal one. And I think you should probably, if you're serious about training pinch, you probably should try to pick them up from Amazon. And not expensive.
Yeah, I had. I'm actually looking at these right now, and I thought I was looking at your Instagram videos, and I thought that was metal. I see they're actually a polyurethane.
Yeah.
But that was. Well, go ahead.
Yeah, I don't know what to describe it feels like, but I can tell you this, even though my kids are teenagers now, when we still have the swing set in the backyard, and it had one of those like fake rock walls where they would climb up and then go down the slide. So it's that same kind of rock climbing material. I guess it's called polyurethane. But I'm sure you've seen them, Alan. They're these multicolored little rock ledges, or wedges. I don't know exactly what you call them, but these different holds. And the company, of course, makes those too because they're a mountain climbing company. But, yeah, it's not metal. It's that material, and it's a different kind of feel than a typical metal one. Now, it can be, I'm guessing, if your skin isn't ready, it can chew it up a little bit because it is a little rough. But like anything, you got to get used to it. But go ahead. Sorry, maybe that clarifies a little bit.
No, you made a really good point, and that's one thing that I kind of thought was missing with certain things. Like just use the wrist wrench as an example. I don't know if I've seen you training with one of those or not.
I have one. Yeah, I'm
okay.
It's one of my worst events. I need more practice at that.
Well, people, there have been some statements about the correlation of lifting certain amount of weights on the wrist wrench and its carryover to the inch dumbbell, for example.
Right.
Some people think that if you can pull 100 pounds on a wrist wrench, that could equate to an inch dumbbell lift. And
right.
it might be a loose correlation, but some people have made that connection. And my one problem with that is that it's still 100 pounds. I know you get a ton of rotational effect, but the loading on your hand, it's just different. And where you were headed with the being able to overload the hand in the pinch position, I think that's one thing that we do miss from some of those other lifts, where you don't get the loading in that way because you're almost limited by the friction factor. Whereas
Correct.
this, it's much more grippy, and you get a different loading in a completely different way. And to me, that would be really beneficial. It's just something we don't see in that other direction generally. We're limited by surface tension, if you will, as opposed to the other thing. So I would think that could be huge. It would almost be like, like wrapping friction tape around a hub, for example, for training purposes. You could probably lift the boat load more that way, and I would think you'd see some significant carryover.
Oh, so, there's no question you see carryover from a couple reasons. From a nervous system effect, from your body is already used to pinching that effect. I'll give you an example. On the 3-inch pinch block, the Iron Mind one, my best in the meet is 77 pounds, 35 kilos. Okay, I did that in Anaheim in August, so fairly recently. And now on this one, on the driftless climb, and again, I've been making steady progress on that. I'm pretty sure I can do a good amount in excess of 77, and one of the reasons why is using this driftless one. On the driftless one, I've done 95 pounds, and I did 77 pounds for 5 reps just this week on Thursday. 77 for 5. So that, and I would be shocked if I could not do 77 for at least a couple of reps, 2 to 3 now on the Iron Mind pinch block. I'd be shocked. So, I think it really, I think overload's important. You know, the Napalm's Nightmare, I think done correctly, it's an overload for the axle. And I think a lot of grip people don't realize how strong some of these men are. And I'll give you an example. Every year at the LA Fit Expo, we have the strong men come in and do the grip. The ones who are well-rounded, some of these guys like a Josh Thigpen, these guys are so strong that it's unbelievable how strong they are. They're just very, very strong. And due to that strength, coupled with actually training grip on their own, you know, another guy's like Joel Dirks, right? Or Ulyss, like the guys that you met up with there for King Kong. Those dudes are big, strong men. And it's not a surprise that they're able to lift big numbers on a crusher or something. It's no shock at all. Very strong. So I think a lot of grip guys really could benefit from overload, Alan.
Yes, I do. Yeah, you made a good connection, and it was something that I had never considered. But we were talking about the inch dumbbell one time, and you were mentioning that some of these guys, you know, being that the inch dumbbell weighs 172 pounds, for example, you were talking about these guys that are deadlifting 700-800 pounds or more. You know, when it goes to picking up the inch dumbbell, that's really not a lot of weight, and that's a huge point. Kind of a light went off in my head. You know, even though it's different, it's like, well, really, it's still 172 pounds. So when you're used to picking up such a boatload, that's suddenly not quite as significant, even though it taxes the hand differently. It's a lot less, though. No matter how you slice it, it's still a smaller weight, and very much so.
Correct.
So yeah, I think that's something that I've definitely. Well, I just need to train a lot. You get stronger overall in general, but that's a very valid point. And I think that's a correlation a lot of people have made through the years too, is that, you know, that you make the big muscles strong, the small ones will follow kind of thing, and it's better to do, you know, overall body strength, you know, squats, deadlifts, you know, the big compound lifts kind of bring all your strength up, and how it has that carryover to it. We do have the outliers out there, obviously, but for the most part, the bigger and stronger you are, the better off you'll be with a lot of these lifts.
I think there's no question to that. That's very true, and I think also, look at, here's an outlier, right? Tanner Merkel's brother, who lifts the inch with no training. Now, obviously, I'm guessing he's a rock climber like Tanner, but he's got these ridiculous baseball mid-sized hands like Tanner. And so he's got a different kind of tool than I have, right? But I've deadlifted 672 pounds in a meet. That's my best lift in a powerlifting meet for deadlift. So it's not 800 pounds, but it's nothing to sneeze at. So I have a decent base to do it.
Yes.
But I'm not strong enough to pick up the inch yet correctly, and I know why. It's because my wrist strength is just not quite there yet. My hands aren't super huge, so I can't my fingers certainly come nowhere near touching when I grab an inch dumbbell. So, that's one of my longer-term goals is obviously to pick that thing up. But since it's not on the horizon in any of my contests yet that I'm aware of for this year, it's a little more of a back burner for me. But yeah, sure. The wrist wrench, I think, it is a tool that I struggle with. My best is 90 pounds on the wrist wrench, or 42, 42 kilos. So 41.
That's not bad.
Yeah, 92. Yeah, it's not bad, but compared to some of my other lifts, it's a little bit below. I think.
Sure.
And
Sure.
yeah, it's something that I'm gonna continue to integrate. When I can. I find that that's one thing that it takes a lot of starch out of me there, the wrist wrench, and so I feel like that's one that I have to be careful with, because I feel like it does cut into my recovery, because it is kind of a wicked device, for lack of a better term.
Yeah. That's one thing that Bob Sundin had actually mentioned something about the wrist wrench on the grip board. He was talking about the action that it has. He's seen some people that in one training session, it'll make them unable to train for like many days, before they can go back to doing something again because of the activity it's had on their lower arm.
Yes.
And I've not personally experienced that, but I'm not lifting the weights that these guys are either. So I can imagine that is definitely out there. But it's definitely a different action. There's no two ways about it.
Well, I think there's a couple things. I think I have one of the original models, the plastic one.
Yes,
I know Luke Raymond makes one that's a metal one. I'm going to guess the metal one probably holds chalk a little better and is a little easier to lift on. It doesn't mean I can't get stronger on mine. But the point is on the wrist wrench, there's a wrist wrench and there's a wrist wrench replica. I think they're different things. I don't know. Did you see the video of that guy, Adrian O'Dwyer, the Irish guy, lifting 57 kilos on the wrist wrench?
Yes. Yep. Monstrous.
I mean, wrist of steel, that guy. He's a freak. He's an alien. Unbelievable. And, I'm sure, I don't know if there's any inch dumbbells there in Ireland where he lives, but you give him one, he'll pick it up easy. He might even be able to clean it.
Yeah, right.
There's no question.
Yep.
So getting back to the climbing block, I feel like it's a great overload for maybe some more traditional blocks. The fantastic tool, fantastic implement. So I encourage our fellow gripsters to pick one up at Amazon, and like $30 with Prime shipping. I mean, that's pretty cheap for a grip tool. And
that's not out of line at all.
No, and if you do make a record to get on the leaderboards, because their leaderboards are evolving, and then they're pretty quick to update them, definitely tag them. Their Instagram name is Driftless Holds, HOLDS. And, for the amount of money we spend on this stuff, Alan, $30 is like nothing. And I think that some people, especially if your pinch is stuck or you're looking to mix it up a little bit, it'll wake you up. And the other thing I think a lot of gripsters don't do enough of is rotation of implements. I think they get stuck, and then they keep doing the same thing, and then it stays stuck. I think if they rotated their implements a little bit more, they would find the training is more fun and refreshing. I mean, that's one thing I love about this compared to powerlifting, is it's not just squat, bench, and deadlift. There's so many different toys and apparatus and ways to improve and areas to improve. So
right. I do agree. I kind of get stuck in sort of a routine with certain things, unfortunately. But a lot of things I do like doing, but I definitely need to incorporate some of these other things a little more. Like the shallow hubs that I have. I know that could be useful. I am looking forward to trying out the tips tester later and actually playing with that, because I think that's a good idea, and you made a very valid point about the way you position that. But that's where my struggle has been with the rotation of some of those other things is the programming of them and where you put it in and how exactly it is that you do it, But you by talking about working up to, like just 5-rep maxes and stuff like that, that sounds like a logical approach. So I think I'm gonna have to experiment with that.
Well, yeah, I think everyone's training is an experiment, and I'm really trying to catch up to the top dogs. And so and as you've noted several times in the shows, I like to stay more or less ready for a contest. And the way I'm able to do that is I alternate, I never leave the garage unless I set a PR in something. And I mean that. And it's made for some dicey mornings sometimes on the way to school, because I don't leave until I make some kind of progress. So anyway, so a lot of times I'll go with a 5-rep max, and then the next week I'll go a 3-rep max. And then depending on the exercise, and depending on how close I am to a contest, I'll either rotate it out or I'll go for a single. And I have charts where I keep all my stuff detailed. They're Excel spreadsheets. They're detailed. And,
nice.
Oh, yeah. And so as a result of that, they're hanging up in the garage. So I can see at a moment's notice what it is. I keep a detailed training log every single day of what I do, morning workouts, afternoon, whatever I'm doing. And it served me well over the years, because then I can go back and look back and say, yeah, I hit this result here. What did I do in the couple months leading up to, August of 2016 when I made a PR in the Rolling Thunder? What did I do? And I can go back and see exactly what I did. So, but yeah, I think doing those sets, the 5s, the 3s, the 1s, I really think it gets the nervous system ready to lift a big weight. And on something I've never done before, a block or something, I will do less weight at first, or I'll make sure I don't go anywhere close to my maximum. Like today, I did the 4-inch block. I only went up to 77 pounds. The record on the record board is 88, and I was just drooling at the idea of doing 90 on this 4-inch block. And I thought better of myself and said, you know what, just wait, save it for after Clay's meet. Do a few more sessions with it. There's no rush. The old Riccardo would have gone to 90, and I might have injured my thumb in the result, because it put a lot of it does put pressure. I mean, 4 inches, you spread out pretty wide there, and we're not talking about a blob. We're talking about 90 pounds. So if you don't do it right, you're going to get hurt. So
yeah, right.
The 77 was easy. There's no problem. Perfect. Move on. I'll do more the next time. And that's the other thing too, Alan, just so you know from my training, when I make a PR, I stop right there. I don't get greedy and try 5 PRs, because that leaves me room for the next time And what I found in this grip game now, having been in it for 4 years, certainly not a veteran like Jedd, but with 4 years is this: if you're injured, you can't improve. And
yes,
you can, the grip, progressive overload is the name of the game. A little more each day adds up real fast. And it's not powerlifting where you're using huge numbers in squat and deadlift. I'm trying to squat 700 pounds, so you make a 20-pound or 30-pound improvement. Those days are not happening in grip because the numbers are so much smaller. So I just go for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-pound improvements, make my PR, work on my form, move on to the next one. Because you see people getting hurt when their form fails or their body isn't ready for the load they're trying to do. And so
right.
I try to avoid all those things. I've already been injured so many times. I mean, I've had 4 operations, in my various other heavy athletics career, that I don't want any more operations. So I'm trying to eliminate exercises I think that are going to hurt me, focus on exercises that are going to help me, and continue to increase every day. That's my goal. So.
Yeah, I agree completely. That's a thing with one thing I've been trying to work on more and more, especially with grip, and I know when you're talking about injuries, you're not talking about like the skin tear, for example, or something like that. But
no.
But those are one things that those always sideline me, even for just a matter of days. It's enough to piss a guy off because it completely ruins your training. Anything you had planned out, the moment you tear your thumb, it's like, well, okay, that's over, Right. And I've been working with a lot more of the skin-friendly type things. That's where I've been using like the blockbuster pinch. And even like the inch pinch, for example, that Luke Raymond, some of those things, it's just like you can do a lot with, and it's just low risk of actually shredding yourself, and you can build some strength that way. And it's not like some other events where I'm not even going to bother naming the ones in particular, but some things are more prone to ripping our thumbs than others. And
of course.
and that's where I run into problems. So I kind of try to save some of those a little bit and work on the other ones. It's just it seems like a better way. So yeah, that I think using something like that driftless pinch block, I think that's a great idea. And yeah, even all those other ones. So I'm definitely going to incorporate more of that. I like that idea too, and the way we go about building up to one.
Well, and the other thing is, after 2 to 3 weeks, I rotate one out and put another one in, and then it's always fresh. And then you attack that PR, and then there's a synergy. I think there's a carryover. I mean, I'm always doing every week. I'm always doing rolling handle. I'm always doing some kind of deadlift. I'm always doing pinch. I'm always doing hub. But what hub? What block? What this? What that? What deadlift? There's so many variations and so many permutations that you never bored. You always challenge. Right. And that's how I have to train, because I get bored easily. So if I don't think I can improve, then I'm not even going to train. So of course I have to believe in myself that I can improve, and that's how I do it. So
right.
Yeah, but this, I'm glad that I'm able to help give you some ideas, Alan, and I hope maybe some of these ideas can help some other enterprising gripper or gripsters out there who want to up their game.
Oh, I think it will.
That's what it's
I think
about.
it will. Yep.
Yeah.
No, those are some good ideas. Yeah. So you always rotate that then, though, huh? You're not like sticking with just like the two. I mean, you don't have any go-tos, like things that you're just constantly working on.
No, because I get stuck, and then that's bad. So I don't want to be stuck. Like my hub has been stuck for a little bit, my Iron Mind hub, right? So I tried using the barrel strength systems, the dub hub, the deep one, and I felt like, and then I started using the shallow hub, and really the shallow hub is the one that it's a go-to for me because I feel like I can always, and I don't know why, just maybe my hand or whatever, maybe I just have confidence on that thing. I feel like I can always PR on that thing every time I touch it, even if I'm not training it. So, yeah, I mean, I do have the record on that, and I feel like I could set the record right now again, like in 15 minutes if I wanted to. Like, I feel like, by a small increment, a quarter of a kilo or half a kilo, a minimal amount, but I feel like I can always beat my record on that thing. So, but for me right now is I'm trying to peak for these contests, trying to peak for Clay's contest, trying to peak for the then we got Philly, and then we got Finland. And after that, I don't know what I'm doing in the second half of the year because I'm not sure yet, to be honest. I have to see what the contests are, where they're going to be. But my main thing for Clay's contest, and I'll be honest, I overdid the Napalm's Nightmare too much. The 2-inch one, I did doing too much on that, and I haven't even used it now, the 2-inch one, and I won't use the 2-inch one until the meet. I took a month off from that, but I'm using the 2 3/8 handles, and I'm using the for sure the 2 3/8 handles, and then I'm also going to use the I used a 1-inch handle. I don't know if you saw me using that. It's this Lat Pulldown Handle that I used. I had some pretty good success with that the last 2 weeks. I worked up to 507 pounds for a triple on that pretty comfortably. It's like a Napalm's Nightmare, but just standing still, not on blocks, on the loading pin, but with a 1-inch handle. So the strength is there. The legs and hips are there. It's just the grip isn't there to do the 2-inch one. So, but I feel like that fired up my nervous system a little bit more. So, yeah, it's just a rotation. If you're burned out and you're regressing, don't do it. So find something else that's similar. So.
Yeah, right. That's okay. Yeah, that's a good. Yeah. This is a good discussion. Definitely giving me some things to think about. So, yeah, hearing somebody else's perspective on it's really interesting.
Well, I have a different perspective than most people because I think most people look at it from a grip-oriented point of view, and I'm trying to look at it from a whole body-oriented point of view. How do you get your whole body stronger? And because the hands are just part of it, and if there's any weak links, your hands can be super strong. Something else is going to get injured or hold you back. So I'm trying to get everything strong, but at the same time really focus in on the disciplines like thick bar, pinch, hub, grippers. I mean, I'm trying to focus on those disciplines and at the same time get stronger. So
sure,
it's working for me. I'm in the best shape of my life right now, so I can't complain. I'm working super hard and putting a lot of time into it and getting the results. Right.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
So
looking forward to it.
Go ahead.
All right. So what else did we have here? Want to cover? Do you have any feats on your list? Wanted to go over?
Feats. Let's see. I know you said you had a couple. I got to get rolling soon here. I did have something that I wanted to go over. Why don't you hit me first? Why don't you go first? I did not write a list down, but there was something that's jumping out of me that's now like hiding right now. Go ahead. Hit me with your feats. What do you got?
I just had a couple. Just one I saw. I don't know if you ever do any card tearing or phone books or anything like that.
Never tried it.
Okay. Well, there's a fellow on Facebook. I'm pretty sure he's on Instagram too. Nathaniel Day.
Yeah, I've heard of him. Yeah.
He just recently posted where he tore 2 decks of cards behind his back, which is absolutely amazing. You know,
I have no frame of reference for it. So, but I'm sure if you say it's amazing, Alan, I'm sure it is.
It's a very difficult. You know, tearing one deck of cards is hard enough, let alone doing one behind your back. But to take 2 decks and do it behind your back, that's incredible. You know, and this guy does this stuff in, like, you'll see him tearing decks in yoga poses and all kinds of different stuff. Ways that, I mean, I can't even, putting my hands behind my back, that's just like, I don't have a whole lot of shoulder mobility to begin with, but to try to do that and maybe get my hands to even fire like they're supposed to without being able to see things, you know.
Yeah.
And so that's a huge thing. And I see Jerome Bloom's been killing it again lately with a lot of stuff too.
He's on fire with the quarters, the balls, the hubs.
Oh yeah,
he's on fire.
He's a machine when it comes to those things. So he's I saw that Dube Cube quarter lift. 38.8 pounds. So, yep. I've never tried one of those. I never picked up like the mammoth coin or anything like that.
Oh, really?
I don't know why. I just never did. I suppose now it's gone. It wouldn't be hard to whip up something like that, I guess. But that was just never my thing.
I actually think it's good for the hub, Alan. I think it really makes your hand squeeze a lot. Your thumb and I mean, you have the inch pinch. I'll probably ask Luke to bring one when I go to Philly, and I'll just take it home with me and save on the shipping. But yeah, I don't have the inch pinch. But yeah, that coin, that's a good device, and it's fun. You know, you just can't touch the string. I think some people do that, and that kind of ruins the lift. But yeah, I brought it down. Even Ode played with it over the summer, and he and I had a coin battle to the death, and we both tied at 54 pounds. So
nice.
I mean, even with his massive mitts, anyone can do it. And it was fun. We're actually laughing in between because I'd be like 53.1, and then we'd take off different plates, and he'd be like 53.3. We probably took like 20 attempts each until we were just done at the end of the workout. But we decided it was time to get dinner. But it was the coin it was actually fun. It's much more fun if you have some people to battle with on the coin.
Sure. That concept sounds that actually sounds like a lot of fun. Yeah, having a little face off with somebody. Yeah, cool.
Yeah, it was coin pulls to the death. Originally, we said the loser buys dinner, and then we tied, so we bought our own dinner. So it was, it was fun for sure. Yeah, and you know, I thought I maybe had an advantage because his hands are so big, but he's just so strong. It doesn't matter. Once you get that grip just right, you can lift it. But you got to squeeze.
Sure.
Yeah.
But you see carry over to the hub with that, though, huh?
Oh, I think the more and more as I'm getting better and better at these lifts, Alan, it's a cross training for the thumb. The thumb limits in so many lifts. It limits your ability to pick stuff up. And obviously, you got 4 fingers fighting with 1 finger. The thumb, whatever you can do to get it stronger, I think there's definitely some synergy involved.
Sure. Well, Jedd's not on the call for us to pick on him, but so you're thinking then with like even the mammoth coin, would you consider the stub then to be in the same, or you consider that kind of a standalone?
Here's the problem with the stub is, for whatever reason, and maybe I'm just not doing it right. Maybe I've never done it right. Who knows? In that area where I push with my thumb into the finger, I get cut every single time.
Oh, so you can't do enough to be effective.
Exactly. I would build up these calluses, and eventually it would get cut. And I was increasing. You know, I was hoping for, and I don't have my training log with me. I think the best I ever did was 36 in training. Maybe it was 34 or 37, something like that. I was hoping to be darn close to 40 in the contest, which I think would have been okay. I wouldn't have been a sacrificial lamb in the King Kong, at least. But I could not do it enough to get any kind of training effect out of it. And I think if the organizers put something in that's a little more implement friendly, finger friendly, like Lucas's inch pinch, for example, it's 2 pieces of metal. You're not getting cut on that. You just pick it up. And if they want to test that same strength, that's a much safer device to use. Who wants to have a little stick of metal that's sticking out, and as you lower the thing, it can jab you, or I think what was happening is this. I was squeezing the thing so hard, Alan, that the thing was starting to tilt, and the stick would cut my finger, my index finger.
Ah, okay. Okay.
Does that make sense?
It does. It does. Yeah. Yep.
And that's not good. It's not, because now it messes up your training for all the other stuff. So,
yeah.
because I'd be doing 2.5-inch crusher, and I'd squeeze so hard on that, the blood would spew out of my hand. And then you'd have to wrap the thing with tape, and you're not supposed to lift with tape. So it's one of these downward spirals where I just felt like, for me, the stub was a stupid event. And I feel the same way, to be honest, about the V-bar. I love vertical lifting, but I feel like the V-bar and lifting it only 2 inches, not good. You can do the same lift with a loading pin. And, I mean, I've been doing Excalibur. In fact, this week I had my best Excalibur ever. I did 226 to a lockout, just like a little bighorn, but because the thing moves independently of the weight shaft because it's on a carabiner, it's a safe lift now. And too many people have been injured on the V-bar being just a straight stick. I mean, we really need to look at, are we doing it just because it's historically been in the event, or are we doing it because it's in the best interest of the athlete?
Sure. Yep.
I mean, that's the deal. You can't do it. It's not pleasurable to me if I'm injured. That doesn't. Yeah,
no, I agree. That goes along with what I wasn't looking to tear down the stub or anything. I was just curious if you were seeing a similar carryover from that versus just because I don't have, for example, I don't have the half penny lift. I don't have any of those things, but I do have the stub. Not that I'm looking for, to start working with that. But the other thing I have is like the Delmer Carter Anvil, that little mini anvil.
Right.
That he made, and I have that too. And I've never even bothered putting weight on that just because of what I've got. With it's a very nice thing. He did a hell of a job making it.
Yeah, super nice. I agree.
But my reservation there was just the same thing as the stub. Is that I would be in a similar boat. So, but
no, I think you're right.
But yeah, no. When you bring up that carryover, that's interesting because that's where one way where I've gone with the inch pinch. I had the one that Jerome Bloom put a picture up of made up. Luke actually has two. He has the one that lets you get like a lot of thumb involvement, but then he has the one with the plate welded on it, so it's like half size.
Okay.
So you literally only get like a part of your thumb on it. So it's a much smaller. It's a lot tougher of a lift. You can't get the entire length of your thumb on it. It stops.
It's like a shallow hub versus a regular hub.
Yes. Yep. And I really like that. But that's been kind of my go-to when I cut something or I'm looking to get a little more volume in, as I know I can do that. I can work the thumb, and I'm not gonna. I did lose a little bit of thumbprint one time on it, but it's just the risk you run whenever you start trying to load some weight on some things, So not a huge deal, but nothing catastrophic that would have kept me from working on it anymore. So
understood. But, I know. Well, I'll have to look into that and see. Maybe I'll get both of them when I see them in Philly there in 2 months. So 2.5 months.
It's surprisingly fun. I'll say that. Some of those things you wouldn't think. You just want to break it out and just kind of just go to town on the thing, So cool. Well, I'm gonna do that. I think I'm gonna incorporate some of that thinner key pinch in and give that a shot for a while. It was something Adam Glass kind of preached through the years, was doing some of that, some key pinch and some thinner pinch to kind of balance things out almost. And I kind of did it here and there and never stuck with it for very long. So I should kind of make it a part for a little while and see what happens with it.
Well, the one who's the best at that key pinch is Michael Thomas. I don't know if you're familiar with him, the Gresham gripper, but that guy is he has the world record right now in the David Horn key pinch event, and he's lifting ridiculous things, over 100 pounds for like 3 feet high, like ridiculous lifts. Like.
Weird. For some reason, I'm not able to see him on Instagram. I see he's commented on some of your posts, and I'll see like that comment link, and you can click it to see all the replies. I can't find his at all. I can't even search his name and have it come up.
All right. Well, I'll see if I can get you in touch with him. I'll see about that. So
so I can't even follow him in the slightest.
No. Okay. Well, I'll see about that. I'll ask him. But I think he has blocked some people from time to time. Not you, but some other people. So the dude is ridiculously strong, and he's done over 70 on the hub in training. So I don't think there's any surprise to that some activity and strong hub numbers is not a shock.
Right.
So,
Yeah. Cool. No, it's neat hearing other input on that. I like that. Yep.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right.
All right, Alan. Well, I think I need to wrap it up. I think I hear those papers calling my name. I need to grade some tests right now in my classroom.
Sure. All right. Okay. Well, that's it for episode 42 of This Week in Grip. Thanks for coming on, Riccardo. This has been a real fun topic today.
Absolutely.
Everybody listening, make sure you hit the thumbs up button and subscribe if you haven't. Comment down below. I like seeing what few comments we actually do get. And hopefully we'll be back next week with some feedback from Jedd's trip to Dubai. We'll talk to you then. We'll see you next week, Riccardo.
Okay. Bye on.